But you're talking about Bloomingdale's to H&M? Girl, what are you talking about? And then you're saying this to a friend that has experienced real fucking hardship. I mean, the bitch had to go get EBT. So can you imagine if you're sitting here and we're talking and you crying about, yeah, because now I got to go to H&M. And I know real struggle. I've literally had to get cheese from the government. I've literally had to be on government assistance. You understand? Like, what are you talking about?
No Clarence. What up? What's happening? What's cracking, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the No Clarence podcast. I'm your host, Tyler, here with the queen of the pod herself, KC, in the place to be. KC, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's really good. I had a productive day. I'm alive and well. Can't complain.
Yeah, I feel you. It's nice to have productive days.
No.
Summer break is here for the teachers.
Summer is here.
I want to congratulate all the educators for getting through another year, dealing with them kids, educating them kids, discipline them kids. Hello. All right. Appreciate you for what y'all do. And don't quit, because we need teachers. And it's hard to find them.
I'm not trying to hear none of that.
It's hard to find them.
We need something else. Jump on it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go where
the money resides.
I hope we give the teachers more money. I hope they get more for, stability purposes. You feel me?
Come on. Cost of living.
Yeah. This is another episode of Shit, where me and KC are recording. Big shout out to Jay. He is having a good time.
Time of his life.
Good old time. Belly being rubbed. We'll talk more about that next week. But I know for sure, I can confirm, the belly has been rubbed. That's all I can say this week, y'all. That's it. That's all you're going to get from me. Oh, man. All right. So, look, Jay's not here. Before we get into Casey's tea, please make sure you hit subscribe if you are not subscribed to this channel. Hit the like button. And leave us a comment if there's something you need to say to us throughout the episode. I would love for it to be positive or constructive. Just not no bullshit. But if you do leave some bullshit,
please, because we want to move in light. We want to move in light and positivity. And so we're not saying we're looking for yes people, but keep it cute.
If you do leave some bullshit, at least have your face on the profile picture. I don't want to see no mask, no egg, no anime.
I don't want no picture, no scenery, no grass, no river. A picture of your face.
Big facts. Big facts. All right, let's get into Casey's tea. KC, what's been going on? Clink. All
right, y'all. So I am super excited. Although this is not new news, but it's still exciting news. Cardi B has officially announced that she is dropping her album September 19th. God is good all the time. You understand? So a little bit about her album. There has been a little bit of some static with the fact that there are some songs that are going to be on the album that are old AF. One of those songs being WAP featuring Megan Thee Stallion, and then another song being Up. Now, here's the thing I'll say about these songs being on the album. The album has 23 tracks, which in my opinion is a lot for a rap album, but she already has a number one with Outside, a single that she just recently dropped. Kudos to Cardi, come on. And we know that WAP and what was the other one I said? WAP and Up are on the album. And I know some people are like, dang, those are old. But I feel like that might work in her favor because those two songs are also number ones. So that's going to help her as far as her matrix for this album goes, right? Because already you have 3 number ones on the album. But I think the only contention I have with this is that I think a lot of people were saying that those two songs being on there, they're like, those are old. I mean, I think one of them is from 2023. And granted, I understand that and I get that. But if we're thinking of the artist and the matrix and like how this album will do and place, you're already talking about having 3 number ones on an album. That's not a bad way to start out. That's not a bad look. There's also been rumors that SZA is also going to be featured on the album. She tweeted or responded under a post saying like, "Ooh, let me send my verse in. Let me hurry up." So I'm excited. I think that this is something that will be very personal to Cardi. I think she's in this realm of like transformation and like kind of like a rebirth almost of like, hey, I was in this relationship for 7 years. I was married for 7 years, devoted my time to being a mother, a wife, and all those things. Unfortunately, that didn't go well. And so now I'm like in this new phase of life. So I'm excited for it. I'm bummed that I got to wait so long, but I'll be patient.
Do I like that she's cheating the system? Yes and no. Like, you get it how you get it. If the songs make sense in the album, then let's do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind WAP having a home. You know,
both of them, neither one of those songs have an album home.
Yeah, I don't like lingering singles. You feel me? Like, songs need a home where there's a good transition into it, or it just makes sense in this spot. You like, you know, you need that anticipation of you feel that song coming. So I'm totally with that. But if it don't flow, if it's not making sense, then you know, you doing it just for the number one. I don't know.
Like, and that's me. And maybe it does. I think maybe once we listen to the album, hopefully it does make sense and it, you know, it flows. The other thing that's interesting about Cardi's drop of Outside, which love the single, energy that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. But Offset also, she dropped that on the 20th. Offset also dropped a single on the 20th. Has a video out for it. And I mean, the stats are not, I mean, in comparison, I think Cardi's up. If I'm gonna say
for sure.
She's definitely up. I don't necessarily remember the numbers for all of the information. I know that he did pretty well on Spotify with his single. I know on YouTube, I think he had 275 K on his video, where Cardi, just her audio alone, had 1.2 million. So I mean, it's clear that it's I think Offset needs to revamp. I think that when he first came out with the Migos, obviously coming in strong, right? Migos catalog is nasty as me.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to separate someone from a group if I feel like none of his projects have really wowed me, if I could be honest. So
okay. You are right. Also, it is hard to listen to Offset because of his outside antics. And I hate to do that, right? But it's like,
no, but it's real. That's the truth.
Because of Offset, well, two things that's a problem, right? Offset got married. Offset got married and never changed up his lyrical content, right? I feel like you can't get married and then continuously talk about the relations you having with women. Yeah, that's number one. And then you going through this situation with the woman and the shorty making you look bad. Let's just be real. But you still have this very same lyrical content. You're not giving us no feel of really what you going through, what it is, what it ain't. But you expect niggas to tune in. Cardi got a song called Outside, right? This makes a lot of sense. You going through this stuff with your baby daddy, it's time for me to. I ain't even heard the song, but it's like it's time for me to get out. It's time for me to pop out, right? Wow. You got 3 kids. You feel me?
That's how she got the 3. Come on.
But that's what I'm saying. These songs are personal. WAP is as much as you want to say is freaky, it's also personal. I know what I'm doing here. I got 3. You you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna tell you, Father of 4, and I'm trying listening to other Offset projects. Father of 4 is one of his best because it's a very if you like really tune in.
Finally, it's a personal piece. I get what you mean.
Father of 4 is a personal project. A lot of these songs is like, hey, bro, you going through some real interesting stuff, but you dropping all this trap, and it's like, nah, nigga, we need to man, you better if you let us know. I probably would have been listening if they was like, yo, Offset talking about it. He said, I can't stand this.
Here's the thing: the sample of I think the song is Bodies, if I'm not mistaken. The sample is nasty. I mean, I heard a snippet. The sample is really good.
And shout out to JID.
You know what I mean? The sample's really good, and like you said, to your point, you could have took that and really put some shit on the floor and was like, hey, you know what? Let me use what I'm going through, and instead of tweeting and instead of harassing this woman, let me put it in the art. But I think it comes to a point too where I think sometimes there are people who are one-trick ponies, right? Like there's artists that we've seen and it's like you do really well at this one particular thing. I think he could potentially be afraid, and this is real. He could potentially be afraid of like, what will my fans think if I'm vulnerable with a project, right? I think there was a gamble that he took almost with Father of 4, which is like, yo, like I'm standing and being proud, a proud father and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I get your point. I also think maybe it can be because he knows he's dead wrong. When you know you in the wrong, what can you say? You can't drag this woman. You know what I mean?
Jay-Z was, and mind you, he didn't win one, but the nigga was nominated for damn near 8 Grammys for saying, I fucked up. I apologize.
But that's also because Jay-Z was he was there. He was doing the work.
What I'm saying, though?
And realized like, oh, I fucked up. Let me get it together. I really feel like in Offset's mind, he doesn't think that what he's done or what he's, because if you're, let's break this down to its simplest form. If I marry you, right?
Yeah.
I'm marrying you and we're for life, correct? Like I want to do the thing called life with you forever.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He went into getting married with Cardi. I think at that time, you're paired with someone who is doing extremely well. You got to think this was at the height of Cardi. This is when she was, fresh off of Bodak Yellow, dropped Invasion of Privacy. You're sitting there and you're able to witness all this, right? I think that to a certain extent, he got the numbers, the accolades, and things he got post Migos. Let me be clear, post Migos, because of his proximity to Cardi B, if I could be honest, right? So and we've had conversations about women making more than a man, and a man needing to be good in his pride and his ego and strong enough to take that and know what that is, right?
Yeah.
I think he took that and was trying to find ways to sabotage her. I mean, I can't think of anything else. So you tried to sabotage her, right? Which you did. She didn't drop an album or a project for 7 years. So during those 7 years, you're out here feeling yourself. You wanting to cheat. Bitches is throwing themselves at you and things of that nature. I do feel like it's a sense of, I want to feel like the man. I don't feel like the man in the house, potentially. This is all alleged. And so in order for me to feel good, I want bitches to be all over me. Those bitches make me feel like a king and X, Y, and Z. So I think he got caught up in that. I don't think he ever really thought Cardi would leave him, right? Because how many times have we heard in the tabloids, she's getting divorced, they not together, and they end up being together. She's talking about, that's my man, I'm fucking on him, he fucking on me type stuff. I don't think he ever really thought about or realized that this woman would potentially leave. So I think now that she's left, he's kind of grappling with, I'm not in proximity of this woman no more, or not in a way that benefits me. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how can I gather, pieces and make it shake? Because I always said this. I know Cardi has more money than this man. You buy all these jewelries. You know what I mean? You buy all this jewelry. You put out a lot of money. There's so many things that I think he didn't think about because he got comfortable with Cardi.
Yeah.
And so he's going to revert to what obviously the only thing he knows, which is like, yeah, I'm going to talk about bitches and fucking on money and getting this and this and that. I feel like even if the Migos were still a thing, to your point, Jay, at some point y'all would have had to make that pivot anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cardi B's album is named what the name of the album is Am I the
Drama? Am I the Drama?
I think she is.
How?
I think she is, bro. I mean, look, man. Mind you, this is only off of 2 niggas, right? I don't know what else. I don't know what the other niggas, how she has affected other niggas, right? But the girl only been with Stefan Diggs for about 3 weeks. The nigga on video giving the pink substance. These niggas talking about they might cut the nigga.
That ain't got shit to do with Cardi. She didn't force that. He took
Casey.
that.
Hey, look, Casey.
No, you a grown
Casey.
man.
You right. But
you grown. That was a choice you made.
Yeah. But dogs, you could. Your woman can either keep you successful or fuck your shit up.
Oh shit!
I'm just saying.
Now I'm not going for it. He a grown man.
I'm just saying that's fair. But who you have around you, it can help you out a little bit. You feel
me? Who's to say that wasn't his people that gave him that?
I'm just saying, why ain't we get an Offset and Cardi collab album?
You know good and damn well why not. No, she's here. You know what? Here's the thing. Cardi got on live. I'm so glad you brought this up. Cardi got on live.
Talk to me.
And she named, like, people are saying she's a hoe, she's this and that. One, I think people judge Cardi based off of her old occupation. She used to be a stripper. And she said this multiple times. Just because I'm a stripper doesn't mean I'm fucking on everything that comes in sight. That's one. Two, we're seeing things that they want us to see to a certain extent. We don't know what this woman had to tolerate those whole 7 years that she was married to Offset. She named like, yo, I was depressed. I was like not eating. This nigga had me down bad. Like I was really in a dark place. She only divorced this man because she was like, if I stayed with him, I would have put hands on him and I would have went to jail. So to me, for a woman to get to that point, one, that doesn't happen overnight, right? That's one. Two, that tells me, what is Offset doing? What are you doing and saying to gaslight her to get her to this point, right? Three, if Cardi, quote unquote, is the drama, why didn't this man step away? Why didn't he walk away? Why did he impregnate her with the third child, with the second child, right? I truly feel like Offset has a problem. He is somebody that doesn't understand that him having all these baby mamas creates broken homes. He maybe understands it and doesn't give a fuck, but I think very much so Offset is the problem. I think Cardi has been reflective, right? And she's named like, yo, that was petty. I'm not trying to do that. She's trying to evolve, but you could only poke the bear so much. There's only so much I'm gonna tolerate. And then you're going to social media to down me as a mother. If I know I'm the one flipping the bill for the kids' clothes, the schooling and shit like that, and then you get on Beyonce's internet and talk shit about how I'm not shit and I don't do right by my kids and I'm out and this, that, and the third. We seeing Cardi pop out with this one man. How many bitches has Offset fucked on that whole 7 years they were married?
I might be tripping here, Casey.
Don't worry, I'll wait. And you are tripping. You bugging. I got you, Cardi. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I got you.
This is the same problem that I think a lot of us got with Halle Bailey, and I'm not gonna get into her, but this is the same problem that I think a lot of us had with her. Offset had them kids before they met. Offset had baby mamas before they met. Now, if you couldn't see how he handled that shit with them, I'm sure he handled it the same way. It's just on the internet now. She decided to put that WAP on that nigga. Now, at some point, someone has to be held responsible for putting the WAP on Offset. Offset. She done put the WAP on Offset, and I gotta figure out a way to leave. That is WAP. I'm supposed to leave the WAP. I know I be up on some other stuff. I know I be up on some other stuff, but it ain't no WAP.
But then but that WAP ain't all that. If you getting others, you know what I mean? Because if the WAP was all that, you would have love would have kept you home. You would have stayed.
I'm just saying,
Cardi B wasn't enough.
Cardi B made a decision that had mind you, she was going to be successful regardless, but she made a decision.
Period.
To get with that man. That maybe we lost 2-3 albums. We lost about 2-3 albums, and she had to go through some shit because for some reason she ignored some possible signs, or she didn't take the time to see what this nigga was really about.
But and again, being Cardi B's advocate, I really don't feel. I don't feel like you're understanding it and seeing it. Now, Cardi named from jump, they had a connection. I really do feel like that's her twin flame. I think that they were aligned as I do think there was some good in there, right? Like we can't say that the whole 7 was hard.
I'm sure it is.
I do think there was some good memories and good times there. Now, I think when you are in love with somebody, right, there's certain things you're like, okay, cool. Like, that's okay. There's some women that will date a man with kids because it's like, okay, yeah, that's not a problem. Because that's not a issue for them. You got to think prior to Offset, Cardi was also engaged to a nigga that was in jail. So, you know what I mean? I think, and that's not to say no shade. Couldn't be me. I can't be a pen pal. You know what I mean? Especially if you in there for like heavy numbers. I can't. But anyway, I think what she had with Offset in her on her end, she genuinely fucked with that nigga and really cared about him. And I think oftentimes we as women sometimes get into relationships that we feel like, oh, but he's different from me. I'm gonna change him. I'm not saying.
Oh my goodness,
I'm not taking away from that. I'm sure that's Cardi had that mindset to a certain extent. But I think, do I wish she had this realization before she had 3 kids with this man? Yes, because I do think Cardi's always mentioned wanting a whole family. But I do feel like you go through things in life for a reason. There was a purpose behind all that she had to go through. It sucks. It does. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I will not say that Cardi's the drama. I'm sorry. Because I'm sure right when she get pregnant, he over there rubbing her stomach. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. You hyping it up. You making me. We're married. We're married.
Yeah, so thinking, you got to understand, though. I'm starting to realize this good idea. Black men are way better. This been going to come all crazy. Historically speaking, black men are way better fathers than spouses.
That's fucked. And that's fucked. We gotta change that. That's not okay.
It is.
That's not okay.
It's not. You're right. But also it's
and it sounds like harder. You just admitted to Offset being the drama. Boom,
it's also way harder to be a spouse than a parent. To be very honest with you. It's a lot tougher.
Why do you say that?
Dealing with a child. Don't get me wrong. Dealing with a child is a lot of physical work, but a child don't know how to work your emotions. Don't know, like a spouse. While they are there to support you, daily work that if you are dealing with a child all day and you forget to water that grass, I don't know. It may not go the way you want it. You know, it's some tough sledding. It's some tough sledding. Marriage is a daily work. So that's all that is. I think we having some
Hold on, I'll be right back. I can still hear you, but I'll be right back.
Girl. I was like, what is going on? No, marriage is a daily work. And the problem with that is, dealing with a child is like, for the most part, they gonna love you regardless. It's like the emotions for them is just like, hey, give me a hug. I'm gonna feed you. Smile at your child. They're gonna smile right back at you. But with your wife, it's a lot different, bro. You can't just feed your wife and be like, oh, we good. Like, nah, we got to talk things out. I got to see how you feel. I got to see what's going on. And not to give Offset an excuse. I'm just saying, we don't take into account how difficult that really is. Though, I don't know,
Here's
man.
my thing, though. You are giving him an excuse. You're not. It sounds like you're not holding him accountable to the level you're holding Cardi accountable. Like it sounds like you're putting a lot of this on her, and like I said, it takes two to tango. So
she the one
I get
asking
it
if
when
she
you're
the drama. She had to have some type of realization. It's got to be my fault. Offset, bruh. Offset ain't never changed, in my opinion. He the same nigga he was before.
Okay, I'll give you that. But that doesn't mean if I'm what's a good analogy? If I am a serial killer, right? I'm a serial killer. I just kill people. You're telling me that that's just who I am, and that's just like, oh, that's Casey. She kills people. Like, and there's no. At some point, somebody got to hold you accountable, and you have to make the right shit. Offset has he has a good amount of daughters. So think about what you're as a father, you're your daughter's first love. So oftentimes, and we know this, we've said this multiple times, kids won't always do as you say, they'll do as you do. So they're seeing these actions, right? The tweets and the back and forth you're doing with their mother, they're going to be able to see that because once it's on the internet, it's out there forever. Like, you can't delete that shit. So at some point, somebody needs to be like, you know what? This is not working for us. We're not good as, spouses, which, to your point, Tyler, I'll give you. Maybe as spouses, it just didn't work. But as a father, as long as you continue to do your part and do your dues, that's different. I mean, they just had a third child, and he hasn't seen that third child. You understand? So it sounds like Offset not a good dad, for real. And it don't sound like he's a phenomenal spouse. So I'm just saying, Offset needs to revamp, do some, get on that lady's couch and work through whatever trauma he got to work through.
I wish the best for both of them. I wish the best for the project coming up. It's already gonna go number one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I don't know, when you listen, Kendrick's Not Like Us was number one, and I was very surprised he didn't put that on the album. But I also understand Kendrick is way more of one of them artisty niggas than I think Cardi for the bag. Cardi for the bag. So get it how you get it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. With that being said, we're gonna move on to Tyler's turntables. We you know what I'm saying? We already kind of been talking music, but let's get into some other music. Let's I don't know if you call her hip hop, R&B. She's just an all around amazing artist, but big shout out to Erykah Badu. I just wanted to give a shout out to her and The Alchemist. The rumors of a Erykah Badu album completely produced by The Alchemist. I don't want to say it's confirmed, but a single has been dropped called Next to You. By Erykah Badu and The Alchemist. And I must say, has me very much looking forward to a complete project. The Alchemist is one of these producers that really kind of makes the artist shine. It's not too much of like, hey, this is a great beat. But it's more of, man, this artist sounds amazing behind this like smooth production. And Erykah Badu, she really don't have that many albums. She been in the game for a long time, but if you low key look at the discography, it's not much. But we remember, like, the music stands on its own. And so very much looking forward to that. Y'all tune into Next to You. And now let's get into some little debates. Jim Jones was on Shannon Sharp's Nightcap podcast. And Shannon Sharp, Jim Jones said he better than Shannon Sharp was like, hey, Jim, I think you smoking, Jim. You're smoking too much. That's the best I could do. That's the
Your
best I could do.
impression's a little too good.
Hey, Jim. So it's very interesting because, okay, Jim Jones is claiming, of course he's not claiming as a lyricist he better than Nas, right? But as an influencer, and in regards to style, in regards to what he brought to the game, he's saying, and any nigga, not too many niggas in rap is gonna be like, nah, nigga, another nigga better than me. That's not gonna happen too often.
That's not the energy of hip hop, yeah.
Nas has consistently, I think my thing about this topic is Nas has consistently been placed in this conversation. We've had it over the years. He had this weird. We had the conversation. Damn, man, it feel like 2-3 years ago. 21 Savage, and Nas, and a lot of people. Nas music was boring. Nas this, Nas that. I'm gonna give Jim Jones a little bit of credit. I will never say Nas music is Jim Jones make better music than Nas, but when it comes to culture, Jim Jones has found a way to always be in it. He's found a way to, really make a lane for himself in regards to rappers, sneaker culture, rapper style culture. It's like see, I'm gonna get my words messed up here because Nas was very influential in the early hip hop shit, right? Suede Timbs on my feet make my cipher complete. That nigga made Suede Timbs. I mean, New York niggas was wearing it already.
But it hyped it up though, for sure.
Yeah. Jim Jones, sneaker culture, style wise, I feel a lot of people, off the Diplomats, a lot of people try to dress like them niggas. So I don't know. I want to give him credit. But it's difficult. It's very difficult to do that. But it was just very interesting that Nas keep coming up in the conversation. I don't know what niggas play with Nas' name, right? And it's weird because it's one of these situations where you live long enough to be the villain, right? Nas was kind of the first nigga to really, he's like the anchor of 90s R&B. I mean 90s hip hop. Like Illmatic,
I'll give you
Illmatic is kind of like the start of 90s hip hop, right? And while you get niggas, you get Tupac, you get Biggie, you get all of them because he's still around. I be feeling like niggas, and I be feeling like niggas, like it's easier to be like, nah, nigga, I'm better than that nigga.
It's easier to find the chips in his armor, the cracks in his armor than somebody like a Tupac or Biggie because they are, no longer with us.
Yeah,
so it feels like you can't critique them because of that.
Yeah, and I just be feeling like we need to go ahead and place this man in a certain upper echelon. And it's like, we're going to let that man be. I'm not saying, his name can't come up in combos, but, bro, what he's brought to the game, what he did for the game, it can't really be replicated. It won't be matched. And yes, he made some boring music. A lot of you niggas have made boring music.
True.
A lot of niggas. True. It's hard. Rap is hard. I'm sorry. Every song ain't gonna be fire. Every song not gonna be fire. But for the ones Nas did, that was great. It was above the standard. It was excellent. So I just want to be like, hey, bro, we let that man do what he do. If you want to say, I don't know. At this point, it's like you got to find another rapper where it's like he ain't so and so though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta stop.
So I think sometimes too, I think we've had this conversation before of like there are certain, to your point, putting Nas in this stratosphere of like he's not touchable, if that makes sense. He's not like it. Maybe I feel like people felt more relatable to Jim and the crew versus Nas. But
Yeah.
I feel like that, people can say that about Jay-Z too. It got to a certain point where it's like you no longer are in the projects. You're no longer living that struggle life. To your point, Tyler, that you made earlier, I can't keep talking about struggle if I no longer live that life, right?
Yeah.
So my words, my rhymes, my songs need to match what I'm currently going through. And so I think what, to Jim's point, is I'll give him that they added something to the culture for sure. I just think that his addition to the culture was more, how can I say this? It kind of felt more prevalent and more tangible because it was like a cultural thing and not just a music thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where Nas, not to say he didn't, add to the culture, but it was more so a musical aspect to it.
Yeah.
And I think, when I think of Jim Jones and I think about the songs that he's, that they've done and stuff like that, like these are songs that like are nostalgic and have something to it. But if I'm to be honest, if I'm listening to a Nas song in Jim, there's two different vibes. I'm listening to Jim if I want to, if I want to turn up, I'm really trying to turn my brain off. I'm just trying to have a good time. I'm listening to Nas if I'm like feeling very introspective, like I want to like reflect and like, you know what I mean? And I want to sit and think. I don't think we can compare those two because of that. They're not on the same level. And I don't mean that in a sense of like hierarchy. I mean, they're two different feelings and vibes. They add two different things.
I just wish he brought somebody else up. It was like, well, no shit, Shannon. No shit. Let's get to the main topic, man. B Simone. B Simone, there's been a clip. There's been a clip going around. B Simone, pretty much saying she had to stop shopping at Bloomingdale's and had to go to H&M.
God, you know what? I'm tired of motherfuckers acting like H&M is Walmart. Bitch, you still got money. H&M would be like $12. It's $12 for a basic. Go on H&M right now. That shit ain't cheap. Let's talk. I'm tired of this. For working class people that we work hard for our dollar, and you complaining about going to H&M. I couldn't tell you the last time I bought at H&M. And I'm somebody, I work. I earn a check. And you complaining, talking about, oh, I had to go to H&M. You know how I am. You know how I am.
Oh, is that what the problem is?
There's several problems, Tyler, with B Simone. But Tyler, it's like this. This is the best way I could put it. It is like Beyonce. No, not Beyonce. Let's not do that. I'm trying to think of somebody with a little coin to them.
Somebody with a little coin.
Okay, Charlemagne. Let's do Charlemagne. That's like Charlemagne getting on the internet complaining like, I can't get my sneakers from an X, Y, and Z place. I got to go to Foot Locker now. Motherfucker, that's still it's still not $1. You know what I mean? You acting like you. Now it's different if she said I'm going from Bloomingdale's to Payless. Now that's something else. You know what I mean? Now it's like I got to get my clothes from Five Below. Now I'm like, all right, sister, maybe kind of look at your budget, get it together, because that's a big jump. But you're talking about Bloomingdale's to H&M, girl. What are you talking about? And then you're saying this to a friend that has experienced real fucking hardship. I mean, the bitch had to go get EBT. So can you imagine if you're sitting here and we're talking and you crying about, because now I got to go to H&M. And I know real struggle. I've literally had to get cheese from the government. I've literally had to be on government assistance. You understand? Like, what are we talking about? Huh?
Okay. I hear that. What other issues do you have with her? I would like you to just get this off your chest.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you asked. So here's the thing. I think that B Simone has always been somebody that's for a money grab. When I say a money grab, I think she does things to think like, the last thing I could think, the first thing that comes to mind is there was a point in time where she came out with a journal, right? Because she had gone from, I believe, Instagram. She made my boyfriend jokes or whatever and landed her on Wildin' Out. And so she created this journal that was supposed to get people like essentially the roadmap, right? Like a self-help book. Sold it for $25. There were people that complained that they never got it. There's people that complained of the quality. Like once they got it, the shit was falling apart. It's shitty. So it's just like, and then she didn't apologize. She was just like, whatever about it. Moved on, whatever. Now we're on to the podcast situation, right? She has a podcast with her friend, Megan, I want to say Megan Ashley or something of that nature, right? This is a podcast where you're supposedly your best friend. Y'all been best friend for 20 years. And just out of nowhere, you kind of just shut her down, stop recording with her. You did a shady little promo where it's like, oh, we don't need that chair kind of a thing. Then she launched into, oh, I'm doing a podcast by myself. Okay, cool. But the podcast you're doing by yourself, it's almost like you're biting off what Shorty's doing, because then Shorty ended up doing a podcast. She's very much so, I don't want to say like, she's very, what you call it? God-fearing, right? So a lot of the things that she speaks of, she always refers back to her faith and things of that nature. All of a sudden, now B. Simone is with God, and she got this big ass fucking blazer on and these booty shorts on, talking about Jesus. Yes, Lord. Huh? You understand what I'm saying? Everything with her just seems like it's not genuine. Like, I would have no problem if you genuinely were like, you know what? I'm turning a new leaf. I'm gonna get with God. I'm gonna get my life right. Because I've seen that done before. That's not the problem. And I really want to reiterate, that's not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is you, B. Simone, have found yourself in situations of like, okay, who can I finesse? And you choose different populations or different people to finesse. Now her new thing is like she has this app she's dropping. And so you got to come get the app in order to get her listen to her podcast sessions. You got to listen to this. And then she's, it's just too much. It's just a lot of bouncing around and not a formula of this is who B. Simone is, take it or leave it. And then you shit on people that are the people that are paying for you. When you think about it, being a comedian, because she started off as a comedian, you need to make sure that you're not too out of touch with the people that buy your tickets. So when you say a comment like, yeah, because now I went from Bloomingdale's and now I got to shop at H&M. When you say a comment like that to the average working person, right? H&M is my fucking Bloomingdale's. You can't tell me no different. You know what I mean? So it's like you're losing your credibility and your relatableness. For what? Like, I've never understood it. And I've always thought that she was just a weird person because you bounce around from friend to friend, you cut off friends. I remember when DC Young Fly, his wife passed away. She got weird with those group of friends. It's just, I think that she just needs a whole revamp. Not a revamp as far as how much money can I make, but genuinely doing a tour of I wanna really let y'all in on what I've been going through and being authentic. I think everything that B. Simone does is very calculated. It never comes off like she's genuinely, hey, I'm genuinely letting you in on my life. I'm genuinely telling you about how me and my friend fell out. It's always messy and it's never and here's the, you know what I mean? This is what I learned. It's always, here's what I could sell you. I don't know. I've just always thought B. Simone has just been weird. I personally don't think she's funny. I think Jess Hilarious is, I would put Jess Hilarious before I put her. And y'all know I don't, you know what I mean? Jess Hilarious to me is, not that funny.
She is who she is. Yeah.
She is who she is. But I can respect Jess Hilarious because she's authentic. Jess not putting on no show. That's who she is. You know what I mean? That's who she is.
Yeah.
I don't know who B. Simone is. I can't tell you who that is, what she stands for, or anything like that, because she's always flip-flopping. Yep. You know what I mean? And if you're going to go in church, let me just do a statement right here. God said, come as you are. For sure.
Talk.
But there's certain things that you should not wear in his house. Booty shorts with a big-ass blazer is a problem. Now, she could have kept the big-ass blazer. She wanted it to wear it so bad. You could have kept that and did you a nice top and some slacks. You didn't have to wear the shorts. What was the sense of the shorts if you was gonna have this big ass fucking Frankenstein blazer? You understand? It just don't make no sense. If y'all like it though, I love it. I'm done.
Clap it up for KC, man. Clap it up for KC. She got it out of the system.
Sorry that it was so scattered. You know, my mind.
I don't want what she said and how people feel about it. I want as somebody who's cheap to the bone. Okay. I want y'all to really listen to what she's saying. But apply it to your life. Okay.
Okay.
B. Simone is currently starting an app. Now, from what I've seen from other people, an app is very financially draining. Right? You gotta first of all, Apple be trying to charge you for putting an app on their store. You know what I'm saying? Every time you charge on the app, they take a lot of money. That's number one. And then you got to create content for the app.
Correct.
Now I got to pay to make content. You feel me? A lot of money is going into this. So what I got from this was, hey, my money is currently being invested. Right? I'm not saying I'm broke, but what I'm saying is the money is working and I'm waiting on that return. You feel me? So while I'm waiting on that return, I can't go to Bloomingdale's no more. I need to go to H&M. Now understand, I listen to this fool in context, right? She's currently fasting, which goes to what you were saying about the spiritual end. Which I guess made her emotional as she was explaining this part. I wish she wasn't crying when she talked about this, right? See, I need you niggas to really tune in, right? If you ain't got it, go somewhere else. I think this is the real key of what she's saying. Oh, my internet trying to drop on me. This is the real key of what she's saying right here, my nigga. If you can't afford H&M, go to TJ Maxx. Your ass can't afford Zara. Take your ass to Ross. You can't afford these stores. Go to Burlington. I need niggas to start applying this to your life. Now, this the one thing we're not going to do is go to Payless. I'm going to tell you niggas right now, we not going to Payless. We can't. That's just not what's going to happen.
I know. I've find another from Payless.
Way. But I do think her words, you know, if she wasn't crying, I think it could have been accepted a little better. You know, niggas just got to realize, number one, you got to know your financial situation. That's one thing I recognize from this statement.
Hey.
She know her financial situation. Some of you niggas walking around not knowing you broke. That's a real problem.
How you not know you broke?
Some of you niggas ain't logged in. Some of you niggas ain't logged into your accounts. You just say, fuck it. I'm going to wake up and live my life.
I can't live like that.
Okay, see, I know
if I'm going to get a coffee, I'm going to check the account.
Casey,
I got to check the account. You understand?
I promise you, I know some of y'all like to walk around ignorant. That's number one. Know your status. You feel me? And then number two, figure out why you are where you are. 3, make your adjustment. You know, it's all about the angle in which you look at things. I can see why niggas is complaining, right? What you mean H&M? But put it in the perspective of, that's like, put it in your perspective. You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, Casey. I've walked into Bloomingdale's before. I've been into a Bloomingdale's. I've been into like the Nordstrom. I've been to Saks on Fifth Ave. I'd cry too if I had to go back. That shit is amazing. The customer service, that's like going from Chick-fil-A to McDonald's. That's literally like, I've been eating at Chick-fil-A all my life, and then you walk into Mickey D.
niggas ain't saying my pleasure. Golly.
What you talking about?
So I understand. I understand it to that in that aspect, right? If we're looking at it in that lens or way, Tyler, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really just think we're all tired of B. Simone. If I could be honest, we're all just tired of it. And I think that point that she made would have been received better had it been from somebody else, if I could be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's absolutely a valid point of like, hey, you need to be within your means. If that's not in your means, that is not your business. I understand that. Had I heard that from somebody that has not literally finessed for her million or her money and things of that nature, I would have stood by her. But because I know that you a motherfucker that move weird, you know what I mean? You move weird and then you crying, and it's like, and then it's like the guest you had on. Maybe if you would have just did that by yourself and you were talking to people, cool. But you had the guest on. This is a close friend that you literally did not help out. Now, here's the thing. I'll say this. I think when we think of helping a friend, we think of fiscally, right? Like money-wise. It doesn't always have to necessarily be money. It could be, hey, I got this, I live in this penthouse or whatever. Come stay, stay with me until you figure it out. We'll come up with a game plan. It doesn't necessarily have to always be handing out cash, right? But you didn't help this woman at all. She's hit rock fucking bottom. I mean, at the point where she's soliciting sexual favors and things of that nature to take care of things. She's on EBT. And on top of that, she has a child with special needs, if I'm not mistaken. It's just so many layers. If you are somebody I care about and you are a close friend, like I say, I'm not going to have you go through that by yourself. I'm going to support you and find ways to, you know what I mean? So when people are like, B. Simone, shut the hell up, nobody care, nobody want to hear it, it's not because that's not sound advice. It's because who it's coming from. You know what I mean? Like, I made my first meal. I would have made my first meal as well if I gave up my car and cut expenses that are quote unquote considered luxury. You know what I mean? So it's like I said, if she was someone who came forth genuinely and stood on who she was and had like a foundation and an understanding of her principles, if she had pillars, oh shit, God don't like it. If she had pillars, right, of things that she stood for and things of that nature, it would make sense. And then it's the people she falls out with. She's not falling out with fucking people that are like Natalie Nunn. You falling out with people that are genuinely good, women that are like, okay, we're no longer friends. I hate that for us, but I got to continue to move on. No, on her end, she's out here sending shots and being shady and shit like that. That says a lot about your character. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we underestimate as personalities, as people that are on this internet that, do podcasts. People are going to fuck with genuineness. If you are genuinely someone that is giving advice or caring about what you're putting out, that goes different versus I'm just trying to push it out so I can make money. You know what I mean? Like it just, I really feel like, again, sound advice, but wrong motherfucker coming out the wrong mouth. I think that was the problem. And then you got the baby in your bed rubbing on his feet and shit. It was weird. I don't know. She's just weird. She needs to go back to the drawing board.
Before my connection go bad again. Casey, I'm glad you got that off your chest. And I see your perspective. I truly do. I don't know enough about the girl. Yeah. I've seen her on a couple podcasts. She interviewed Jason. I think his name Jason. Dang, this brother who he good with his emotions. The brother got a good beard. She was like, "Why can't I find a man?" It was the whole thing. God bless her. I will say she a bit emotional, but that I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm a black man, so me saying that is like, nigga, what's wrong with you? I get it.
Steer stray, yeah.
So we're gonna end it right there. I thank you very much, Casey. Shout out to Jay. Can't wait to see you next week. Before this internet go bad again. This is another episode of the No Clearance Podcast. Big shout out to everybody. Make sure you tune into the Patreon, man. We did a little something for the Patreon, for the patrons.
And if you want more information, If you want more information about B Simone, I will be recording a session with my homegirl where we are talking not hot shit, but we talking some facts and information. So please be on the lookout for a new episode of the Dare to Talk.
Yes. You heard her. And there it go. Yeah, this is the No Claims Podcast, man. Stay black.
Stay blessed.
Peace.